Hey guys, Cormac here, and today I'm going to do a little video about a whole duck, how to use every single part of it, how to get the most value out of it, and what you can do with the pieces that you have. So the first step, of course, is you're going to need to get your duck, and a whole duck is incredible value. This one was €6, and the amount of things we can make out of this, it's amazing. So here we go. Okay, so I have my duck here on my board. If you have a knife like this, which is a boning knife, good time to use it. If not, you don't need to have one. You can use a knife like this. Now, we're going to have a lot of little bits of skin and stuff on here, but we're not going to waste any of that. So, the way I always do it first is I'll get my tray. And I'll have a bowl here as well, and I'll just start to take off some of this excess skin, and we can just put that straight onto the tray. Then we're going to come inside here, and in here you've got a wishbone. You can feel that with your finger, so you want to just kind of cut back the skin from that wishbone and cut any flesh off it, just to expose that. And again, you're just feeling around with your fingers. Move the duck whatever way you want to move it. So again, small little knife is sometimes better. And once you get a hold of that, we're just going to pull that off. And that just comes off. Just like that. We're going to keep that too. Now, sometimes you get the heart, the liver, the gizzards with the duck. This particular duck, those didn't come with it, but not to worry. Now, the reason we take off that wishbone is because it makes taking off our two breasts here a lot easier. But first we're going to take off some more of this extra skin. Just let the bones guide you during this. And you can see already how much that lovely fat is on this duck. And that fat is going to be put to good use. Now, the wings we can do next. Again, all the time, just feeling where things are. You know, you can see there's a knuckle there, so we're going to go in there, and we just want to use the knife as little as possible. So there's our whole wing. Do the same on the other side. Again, let's get a little pop as it came out of the socket. So we have our piece like this, matching. Now, the legs here, we can see where the muscle is there. You can just see the leg there, and it comes right back to here. So we want to go and take off that now as well. We make one incision like that. You can flip her over and see how close I am here along to the rib cage. So you want to make sure you come up high here. Again, just pop that knuckle open, that joint. Again, here's our first leg, and we repeat that process on this side. And now we have our other leg. Now we're just left with our carcass and our two breasts. So we're going to go in here like this, and there's a breastbone right there, which you can kind of see visible now, and this is where the wishbone would normally be. And if the wishbone was still there, you can still do this with the wishbone there, but it just kind of gets in the way a little bit of the knife. So now this part, you want to kind of take your time. you want to make sure you leave as much meat on the breasts as possible and as little on the carcass as possible. So again, you're letting the knife glide along the natural carcass bones here. That's going to be your guide. And you can see now there's a lot of extra stuff on there, but we're going to take all that off afterwards and we're going to use all of it. So there's one breast. Same again now on the other side, leaving as little as possible on there. Again, moving the duck around just to make the angles a bit easier to work with. So now we're left with this, but we're not going to waste this either. So all this skin here we're going to take off and we're going to cook that separately, and all that fat. We don't want to waste any of that fat. That fat is amazing for roast potatoes, and you can cook with it as well. If you want to make some sort of a chicken casserole, a duck stew, you can use it to cook the duck legs in. There's so many uses for that fat, so we don't want to lose that. So we're going to gently take off as much of that skin now as possible. Another piece of skin there. So now we're left with our small bit of meat on the carcass still, but that's about as much as you're going to be able to get off it. Most of the skin is gone, but there's still also fat on there. But we're not throwing this away either. We're going to make a lovely stock out of this. So now you're going to get a little bit of a heavier duty knife, because if you break this up a bit more, it's going to fit in your saucepan better, and also you're going to get more gelatin and flavour out of the bones because they're split open. So straight down like this, cutting through the ribs. Try not to go too hard because you'll just make a big mess all over your kitchen. And this piece again now we can cut down like this. So that is going into the stock bucket. Again, with this piece here, we want to make sure we're cutting through that spine, give it a couple of slashes, and then we can cut through with the knife. You can see those lovely bones there, and it's going to fit perfectly inside a small pot. You don't want this big carcass with a load of water. Nice concentrated stock is what we're after. Now we need to look at trimming up our breasts. So any of this excess fat and skin, we're going to go to one side. And then you're going to have like this, a nice square duck breast, but you want to get rid of a couple of more pieces. This piece here, where it looks kind of different to the regular meat, that's just kind of a sinew that you want to get into a little bit chewy, goes in the stock pot. Again, anything else that looks a bit odd, don't take off excess meat, but just a little tidy little trim up. And this little one here, that little piece there can be quite stringy. So now we're at this point And what we want to do is we want to render a lot of fat out of this and make sure this skin gets crispy when we cook it as well. And the best way to do that is to give it a light scoring. Now I'm not cutting into the flesh, I'm just scoring the skin. Now you can see there that the flesh has not been damaged, but what you're going to do now is you're going to let the fat render out from underneath the skin more easily, and we're going to have beautiful crispy duck skin on our duck breasts. Now for the legs, we're going to do like before, just make sure you haven't taken any small slivers of bone off. I can feel that there, it's a bit of a bony piece, you don't want to be eating that, so just take off extra fat from here. Some people leave a lot of this fat on, but I just feel you get more value out of it treating it differently. So next we come to the wings, and I like to put this piece into the stock. That's just a very much wing tip portion, and the rest we're going to cook as well as the leg at the same time. You could do different things with these legs, but when you've only got one duck, you're better off just cooking it with the legs. And there we have it. So here we go. We've got our duck prep now. We've got our breasts here. We've got our two legs. We've got our two wings, and we have our skin and fat, which we're going to render out. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to put this in with the bones on a separate tray. So this is all the bones that I have left over from this, which we're going to use for duck sauce. So we're going to make a stock out of these bones. And at the same time as we roast these for our stock, we're going to roast this skin as well, and we're going to keep draining off the fat. All the fat is going to come out of that skin and out of the carcass as well. You're going to get some fat out of that too, but you want to leave a bit on the carcass just to leave it roast. But this has got so much, we're going to drain it all off, and at the end we'll drain off whatever's left from that as well. I'm going to keep that. That's amazing for roast potatoes. This is going to get super crispy. We can season it with maybe some paprika, some salt, maybe some kind of Cajun-y kind of style spices, fennel seeds, anything like that will work really nicely with this. And we're going to cook our duck breasts pan fried, gently rendered out so the skin gets nice and crispy and the meat is still lovely and pink inside. And our legs and our wings, we're going to cure them, and we're going to confit them if we have enough fat. If we don't have enough fat, we can nicely braise them, and then we can roast them afterwards, and they're going to get crispy as well. It's going to be amazing.